Greetings, B-movie aficionados.
Hello, welcome to A Couple of Flicks. I am Tristan.
I'm Nick.
And I'm Zach.
And this episode is a long-awaited episode. It's a double feature episode instead of a triple feature. So in this particular episode, we are actually talking about just a couple of flicks.
Mm-hmm. It was a while ago too. I don't even remember why we we had any theme or just chose random ones or what.
I think because we decided to try just doing double features. So
yeah. But why we chose these particular ones, I don't remember.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. All right. Well, I guess before we start talking about these, did either you watch anything recently that you want to talk about?
I haven't really watched much since last week. Been rewatching Dragon Ball Z.
Very cool.
Nice,
awesome.
Nice.
That's about it. Yeah.
Nice.
I didn't watch too much either. Nothing I can think of. The Boys season finale was yesterday.
How was
4. It was good.
Cool.
We're gonna watch it.
Yeah,
it's really good. Ended on a high note.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm very far behind on The Boys. I'm not sure. I think I watched season 3, but I'm not positive. So
it's a good show. Fun.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I mean, I've watched it all the way up to this point. I still haven't watched season 2 of Invincible yet. I need to. I did like season 1 though.
I haven't watched the second season either yet.
Oh, I watched that. Yeah, that was good too. That got intense. Yeah.
Excellent. Good. I'm glad. By the way, Zach, this is kind of a side question, but did you ever see the live action Dragon Ball movie?
Yeah.
Was it good?
I saw it too.
Did you guys like it?
From what I remember, no.
No.
I never watched it, so
Well, maybe we can do it on this.
yeah.
Hey, yeah. It's an option. Yeah, it is bad.
Yeah. I think it's got that one kid from Snow Angel. Or I don't know, maybe I'm getting him confused with somebody else, actually, now that I think about it. I don't know. There was so many movies that came out that were remakes around that time that and I think I get this one confused with The Last Airbender because, both got a lot of slack, for kind of the same sort of similar reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I haven't watched the live action Dragon Ball movie. So. But I did watch Furiosa. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I really enjoyed it. I mean, I pretty much agree with what everybody else is saying. It's definitely not as good as Fury Road, but I think that people also should. I feel like it works fine as its own movie. It doesn't really try to be better than Fury Road. It actually just tries to do its own thing, and it's it kind of sort of fits in line a little bit in the spirit of just typical Mad Max movies, just the weirdness of those, except it's done more as sort of like a dark revenge story. So I really liked it personally.
Nice. Yeah, for nothing but good things.
No, it looks good. Yeah.
Yeah,
gotta check it out.
It's good. Some of the action scenes are kind of cheesy, but overall I think it's pretty cool. So
because Fury Road had awesome action scenes.
It did, yeah. So this had some pretty good ones. I definitely. I mean, the thing is, this one kind of scales down quite a bit on the action, though. Like Fury Road is kind of nothing but action, but this film isn't really the same type of movie. So it's like it's a lot more, I guess, character driven rather than like about like the spectacle and the craziness. I actually think that this movie sort of makes Fury Road better in certain ways. So
Hmm.
it's worth checking out. I think it was pretty good. Just I think people just need to not expect it to be as good as Fury Road and just enjoy it on its own terms. They shouldn't even really be compared anyway. So because they're both going for different things.
Okay, yeah. Have to give it a watch when it's, I don't know, available on streaming, maybe.
Yeah, yeah, it's available. It's
Oh,
I
is
mean
it already?
it's well to rent at least. I don't know like if it's like I mean it's expensive, but you know. But if you're watching it with other friends and you all kind of contribute, then it kind of works out. So that's the way I did it. So
Yeah.
that's
Okay.
also the same way I watched what the heck was it? Venom 2, Let There Be Carnage. Yeah, I contributed $5.
Nice. I didn't see either of those ones.
They're not good.
skippable. Yeah.
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 Yeah. I mean, maybe if you really, really like Tom Hardy and you are capable of not getting tired of him for after like an hour, then maybe they're worth watching. But otherwise, I don't know.
Okay.
Have you seen
Yeah.
them both, Zach, or just the first one?
Yeah, I've seen them both.
Cool. Which one did you like more, the first or the second?
Probably the first one.
Yeah.
I think Woody Harrelson just fell out of place in that second one.
I was
Oh,
gonna
nice.
say, yeah, that was a little confusing. Anyway, yeah, I probably am not gonna watch Venom Let There Be Carnage again. So like I'd probably sooner watch Spider what's it what I don't even remember the
Madam
name of
Web.
it. Yeah, Madam
Oh.
Web. I
Yeah.
wanted to call it Mistress Web, but go on.
I was gonna say that's terrible. That's even worse.
It looked so
Yeah.
bad, yeah.
It definitely was not good at all. But I'd probably I don't know, I'd sooner rewatch that one, I think. Just because I'm still very confused by Madam Web. And there's still some things about it that I feel like I missed. So either that or yeah, I don't know.
Big Morbius over all of those.
Okay, yeah. Morbius.
I haven't
It's
seen any of
good to
them.
know. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know how deep into it do people want to go. I mean, there's stuff like Dark Phoenix, there's the New Mutants, like take your
Yeah,
pick.
Just
I mean,
the offshoot Marvel movies.
yeah, yeah. There's plenty to choose from.
I saw the New Mutants. That's the like horror X-Men.
I
Yeah.
think so.
Yeah, I saw that one. I think I saw it in theater.
Did you like it?
It was okay,
Okay.
but it was very predictable. And
Yeah.
they should have gone R and made it like was a little toned down for the. They could have been better if they went harder on it and went R.
Yeah. Like if they made it more like Nightmare on Elm Street 3 or something.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we should probably talk about these two movies now. So I'm gonna go ahead and just dive right into my choice. I picked a movie from 1998, Although I'm a little confused now because at so I watched the credits, and at the end it had a copyright date for 1997 and a copyright date for 1998. But then when I looked this movie up online, everywhere else it says 1998. So I guess I don't know. I'm guessing maybe this movie was finished in 1997 and then released in 1998 is my guess. So, but it's called Tainted, and it's one of those sort of. I'm guessing. I mean, I know it was released by Troma, and so I think that's kind of probably the only reason that maybe anybody's even seen this film.
Hmm.
But the reason I watched it is because it was always like sort of a film that was on the list of like vampire movies that and like I that it like I don't know, when I was younger I got really into vampire movies and I made lists of vampire movies, and for some reason Tainted is one that like I'd always heard about but never seen or never like could find. And at one point I think I even chose it for this show, and then like I couldn't find it anywhere to stream or anything around that time, so we didn't end up watching it, but that was years ago, that might have been last decade. Yeah,
I'm into vampire movies, but I never heard of this one. Yeah, I love vampire movies still.
yeah. I mean I knew this was low budget because I remember the first time I read about it, it was described as being kind of similar to Clerks.
Yes,
So
I picked up on that a lot. It's like I wrote down like in big letters, Clerks.
yeah, this definitely big like Clerks influence for sure. And I think even in the credits they say like because at one point they list like they have like a list of their film influences, and Kevin Smith is like right on the top of the list. So yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So I knew this was like a low budget kind of talky type of movie, but I was also I'm curious about like these little cheap, like homegrown little odd vampire movies. Like what are other people's, like what can other people do with this concept of the vampire curse, and the idea of a Clerks meets the, I don't know, Fright Night. What's the typical vampire movie that people, The Hunger? That's a big one for me. Like Clerks meets The Hunger is kind of what I'm sort of thinking. Yeah. I don't know. What are your guys' favorite vampire movies? Like, that's the first one that comes to mind.
Maybe Lost Boys.
Oh yeah, that's a great one. Yeah, and there was another '80s one, like Near Dark, was also really good.
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
The original Let the Right One In. I love that one.
Yeah, that's a brilliant
like
movie.
The Swedish one or whatever.
Yeah, I like that movie a lot. Yeah, it's very dark. Also, I guess Interview with the Vampire, and
oh yeah, it's a classic.
Yeah,
I heard
like
the series is good too. Actually, they have a series out now.
I wanted to watch that.
Yeah.
I actually do kind of like Queen of the Damned, by the way. I'm not afraid to admit it. Like, I know it's bad. Trust me. I've heard all the criticisms, especially from Anne Rice fans. Oh my gosh. But I don't know. I can't hate it for some reason. So, and I've tried.
Tried to hate it.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, so I guess back to Tainted here. So the movie kind of starts off a little bit cryptically. You're not really sure exactly like what's going on at first, but at the beginning of the movie, you see this guy who he looks like a dollar store James Duval, almost like the way he's dressed and the hair. It's like a pompadour almost. Walking into the grocery store, and he spots this fella looking at the meat, and he there's like a close up, got little fangs, so it's like, uh-oh, he's a vampire. So this movie I mean, it sets up the vampire theme pretty early on, yeah. And he
And then
it's
abandons it for a good chunk too.
yeah, they set it up and then kind of then you have to wait for another 30 or 40 minutes before you get back into it, you know. So he's like in the store and he does this thing. I didn't really understand. He like knocks something off the shelf, and the guy like turns around and he starts kind of walking away, and I guess I don't know. It looked like he warned him, but maybe he did it on accident. I don't know what the deal was. Anyway, so eventually he's following him, and then it becomes a chase, and then he corners him in the elevator, and then like he chases him down, and then like he like knocks him out, drags him out to the car, and he hooks up a little thing to his vein and starts draining his blood. So it's like, wait a minute, isn't this guy a vampire? What's going on here? Why is he draining this vampire's blood? What's the deal? You know?
I thought he was just like a vampire hunter, but then he started, draining his blood.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. I thought he was like, Junior Van Helsing or some dude who just thought he decided to find a trench coat and be like, yeah, I'm gonna slay some vampires. Here we go, I don't know, but regardless, you gotta wait a while to get to the resolution of all that. But in the meantime, we're introduced to our lovely characters. The first character we meet is this fella. Was it JT or was it Ryan? I don't even remember the guy's name. And I've watched this movie twice.
I think Ryan first, maybe.
Ryan. Okay, Ryan. I guess that would make sense. I'm gonna go with that for now. So he like you introduced to him, and he's got like a lady in his bed, and so it's clear that he kind of had a hookup
Ryan,
type of thing. Yeah. Okay, cool. And so he basically is like trying to get her to leave, and she's kind of getting a little bit frustrated because he's coming across like a jerk, which I mean, yeah, he isn't really trying to hide it, but
he doesn't even know her name.
Yeah,
like, what, you want to play charades for it or something?
Yeah. That was a weird line. Yeah. She's like, "Do you even know my name?" He's like, "Oh, you gotta give me a hint. Like, why don't we play charades?" It's
yeah.
But yeah, so she's pissed at him, leaves. He has to go to work at the video store, so he heads off. I'm guessing it's late in the day. You see, I watched this movie twice. The first time I watched it was several months back when we were first going to do it, and then life ended up getting in the way. But then I rewatched it because I needed to refresh myself on everything, and I couldn't figure out if they woke up early in the night or late in the day.
I think they woke up later in the day. I think they even said what time it was, like around 5 or something, I want to say.
Yeah, she asked, "What time is it?" And he's like, 4. She's like, "It's that late?" But I didn't know if she meant late as in early or late as in late. Like, like, you know what I mean? Like AM or PM. Because they don't say AM or PM. So, and the whole movie is like shot so dark, like the lighting, there's like barely any lighting. And so it always looks nighttime anyway. Like,
the vampire movie, of course.
Yeah. Exactly. But although I don't know, I don't think does the idea of a late night video store exist anymore? Like, was that ever even a thing? I don't even know. Anyway, regardless, so he goes to the store, and his manager is this other dude. Is that JT?
Yeah.
Okay. He's a pretty volatile fella who's like he's got kind of a temper on him. He's very like low tolerance type of guy who loses his temper, and
Yeah.
Like,
I said he's an asshole. I just wrote JT equals asshole.
Yeah, he's the asshole of the pair, and Ryan is the quote unquote normal person who goes on one night stands and then just ditches the ladies that he sleeps with, and his phone messages are of course loaded with
Oh, right, yeah.
different people like, where are you? I thought you were gonna hang out with me, things like
Oh,
that, you know.
yeah. So this movie's a lot of talky talk, like,
Yeah.
and after those phone calls before he goes into work, he has like this sex talk, like, what? Don't look. He's talking to someone off screen.
Yeah.
He's like talking about, I don't know, it is like Kevin Smithy, you know,
Yeah. um Talking about one night stands and
yeah, and
the
the
philosophy of
philosophy of one night stands.
sleeping with people.
And it turns out that he's talking to his dog.
Yeah, an adorable dog.
Mhm.
I don't know what kind of dog it was, but it was a kind of a tiny dog. But you know, ordinarily like bug-eyed dogs kind of scare me, but that one I thought was kind of charming. It had a good face, whatever it was. Anyway, um, let's see. And so anyway, so they're at the video store, and you got the weird customers, and this one guy comes in and is like, do you have any movies that have people getting tortured and tied up? Which, if I were working at that video store, I would just be like, well, I think we have at least a couple of the guinea pig movies over in the horror section. But instead, JT is he basically calls him a pervert. I don't even remember what he says, but he like makes fun of him, says like some
Yeah.
kind of sarcastic quip, and let's see, like the typical kind of thing that you see in the Clerks movies where
He's
they
the
end up acting assholes like the customers. Or
yeah,
what was that?
you say he's the Randall of this movie.
Yeah. Yeah, basically just being degrading. And let's see. Oh, and then they have this new coworker, Alex.
Yep.
Yeah, he's an asshole too. There's like some girl there who's like, "Is this any good?" He's like, "Oh," and he ends up sort of. I don't remember what he says, but like she actually is trying to sort of like give him the benefit of the doubt and not sort of respond to his jerkishness, and he basically just turns aggressive. So yeah, we got these three characters. These are our three characters, our three heroes.
Yeah.
And let's see, JT wants to go see Blade Runner.
And there is a guy in there too that tries to steal a movie or something.
Oh yeah, this one dude I think he tries to steal a laser disc.
Oh, right. Yeah, big ass thing. Like falls out of
Yeah.
his back and shit.
Yeah, either a laser disc or a record. It's hard to tell.
Yeah.
But the Alex dude basically kicks him out after he does that. But he says something about like, I don't know. He talks nonsense. He's one of those like oddball type of.
Maybe he was acting
customer.
weird. Like,
Yeah.
like he was on meds or something. Off his
Yeah.
meds, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Just spooky, basically. It's like walking in out of like a Richard Linklater movie. And let's see. So so yeah, he wants to go see Blade Runner, or that both of them are going to go see Blade Runner, but unfortunately their ride ends up having some issue with his dad.
Yeah.
It's like he actually tells the whole story, or with his mom or whatever. His dog ends up getting a hold of his weed and getting all blitzed out, and then his mom shows up, and I don't know. Somehow this caused this person who was going to give him a ride to break his ankle. I didn't really understand that story exactly, but
And
I mean,
even before, because it is, yeah, talky. They were talking a lot about girls and movies. They just went on like a 10-minute rant on just random shit. But
yeah. JT talks about how he gave his ex-girlfriend the Raising Arizona test, which I presume means that he showed her Raising Arizona, and if she didn't like it, then he dumps her. Which I don't know. I mean, I like Raising Arizona, but it's not like the greatest comedy ever made or anything.
Yeah.
Although some people think it is, so I don't know. But I'm not as into Joel and Ethan Coen's comedies. I've realized I'm more into their dramas. I think they're better at the darker stuff. Like I like Hudsucker Proxy. and I like the what was that Ballad of Buster Scruggs?
No, I like that one. Yeah.
That was a good one. But I've never been a Big Lebowski fan. I didn't really understand that what was it called, the Serious Man. I don't know. I think Raising Arizona is probably one of their funnier comedies, but I've just never been crazy about their comedies for some reason. So, um, but let's see. Okay, so yeah. Anyway, their ride like broke his leg, so he decides to ask Alex to give them a ride to the screening of Blade Runner, and but of course things don't go well along the way. Like they have this altercation because they have to stop at this gas station to get like some kind of oil or
Yeah, his
something.
car overheats.
Yeah. But the person at the gas station locks up, can't open up the registers again,
And of
is
course,
on
he's
his
a
way out.
weird character too. Like he's on the
Yeah.
phone with someone and he's like, "You want to hear a funny joke?" And it was about like a rabbit. It was
Yeah.
like this kid's rabbit died, and his dad tells him, "Oh, go to school and I'll bury it for you." And guess what they have for dinner that night? Rabbit soup.
Yeah.
What is that? Is that a joke? How is that a joke?
I mean, I didn't find it funny, but I thought it was funny that the movie thought it was funny.
Yeah.
So JT talks some crap to him, and they have their issues, and then
And a bird
Yeah.
shits on him.
a bird shits on him. He just kind of stands there confused, like that a bird shit on him. There's basically no normal people in this movie. Just to be clear, nobody in this movie acts normal, which I guess is kind of what makes it charming in a way. But anyway, so they're on their way to the car. They get accosted by a couple, I don't know, thugs, and which is like the most random thing to have happen in a movie like this. Typically, if we didn't know that it was about vampires. But Alex ends up surprised, killing the two of them and revealing basically that he's a vampire.
Yeah, because he gets stabbed.
Yeah.
Like the thugs stab him a bunch and he falls down, and then but he gets back up and he's like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah,
Kills them
yeah,
both.
it's crazy. Yeah, it's like this intense fight scene. The fight scenes in this movie are, kind of clunky, but better than I expected. I mean, but not the greatest. um, let's see. So it's like, yeah, I'm a vampire, and there's other vampires, and right now I need to go to my ex-girlfriend's house, and borrow her car, and so that he can, I guess, put whatever he needs into his car. So they go to do that, and she's an alcoholic. I guess she like mixes like what is it, rum with blood or whatever. Is drinking it, and there's some history. They argue a lot about relationship stuff. I don't want to go into all that because I mean it's going to take up so much. It's mostly just like depressing relationship drama. But she's got like a new boyfriend living there who's this guy, what's his name, Slane, which should give you a hint
Yep.
of who he is.
Slain.
Yeah. Which I chuckled whenever the character said his name.
Yeah.
Yeah. But she's drunk and ends up giving them the keys to his car. So so they take the car, but along the way, when they open the trunk, they discover the body of an actual vampire in there, along with it looked like a couple liters, maybe, or maybe just a single liter of
There were a few,
blood.
a few bottles of
Yeah.
blood because they were mixed into there were different like blood types.
Yeah, so they discover this, and it's like, like, and this, because according to this movie's mythos, like, vampire blood, I mean, I guess vampires can drink it, but it's not really preferable to human blood, which according to them tastes fresher and is actually more like nourishing. But if a human drinks vampire blood, which I don't know, maybe this is given too much away too early on, but eventually the characters realize that if you put vampire blood in human blood, even a drop of it, then the blood belonging to the human is going to be completely tainted, and the human is going to turn into a vampire. So, not really good that this vampire dude is this slain dude, who we don't know whether he's a vampire yet or not, is carrying around blood from vampires.
No, we
And-
do because the girlfriend was dating him, so it's
okay,
presumed,
yeah.
at least presumed, that he's a vampire. I had to,
Oh well. Oh yeah, no, okay, yeah, that's true. Yeah, so we don't really see him right away. Like we see
we
him at
don't
the
know
beginning of the movie, but
who he is. We just know that he's
yeah,
like an asshole to his girlfriend.
exactly. But then when he gets up, and he's of course still wearing his trench coat, even when he's asleep. When he gets it, and I'm surprised he's not in a coffin or something. When he gets up, you tell he's the trenched coat homie fella from the beginning of the movie in the grocery store. So
Yeah, that
now we
drained
know
that
that
one
he's a
guy.
vampire.
Yeah.
Yeah, so now we know he's a vampire. So I got the order of things mixed up a little bit, but so he kills her as soon as he catches on with what she's doing, and she even tries to warn them by calling them, or no, he tried. That's not what happens. They try to call her and warn her to get out, but of course it's too late because Slane has already woken up and discovered that his vehicle's missing. You should have seen the look on his face.
He was pissed.
Oh yeah. So he's pissed at her, kills her. And they show up there, find her dead. And of course it's kind of a tragic thing with the Alex character, because since it's his ex, and he still had feelings for her, but since she became an alcoholic, it just didn't work out, and all this stuff. And then of course they get into a fight with Slane, or actually at least he does. And I think it's about that time that he ends up taking his car, right? Or I know that he at
books
least,
it because they still have his.
okay.
Because they still have his car throughout the movie.
Yeah. So he manages to take all the stuff that was in the trunk, though.
Yeah, he gets the blood.
I'm trying to remember how did he do that though? Didn't he?
No, there was a scuffle. And him and Alex were fighting, and then the other two dudes took the car and tried to run him over.
That's it. Okay.
And the car's brakes weren't working properly, and he's like,
Oh yeah.
Do you have any, well, I don't know, final words or something? That JT was kept trying to say like some prayer. And he's like, wait, what was the words? What was it? He keeps messing up the prayer, and then stop inches from a brick wall.
He's having a temper tantrum because he can't remember the correct prayer. Yeah. So let's see. So then they're having to figure out who this Slane guy is. So they go to one of the vampire hideouts, just some place. They may have
a vampire bar.
Yeah, they may have said the name of it. I can't remember. But regardless, they go in, and it's kind of probably the most atmospheric scene in the movie. And it also has my favorite moment in the movie, where the girl ends up yelling at Ryan because it turns out that one of the ladies that he had a one night stand with and is actually a vampire.
Oh,
somehow he didn't notice.
Yeah.
Like he didn't notice her fangs, which pretty much all the vampires in this movie have fangs except for Alex, which he does it eventually reveal he reveals pretty early on. It was because he filed them down because he didn't want to be reminded of what he is.
While they were going to there too, they had another long talky thing about Harrison Ford.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah. Yeah, which that's not the first time
a walk and talk
Harrison
for like 20 minutes about Harrison Ford.
Oh yeah, it's not the first time they talk about Harrison. They talk about Harrison Ford quite a bit in this movie, like about how he's like his favorite actor and all this stuff.
No, it's actually before they get stabbed and all that shit happens. But yeah, there was that scene.
Oh, well, yeah. Regardless,
yeah.
So let's see. Oh, but yeah. But she yells at Ryan for like never calling her back and stuff, and she talks about how she thought about tracking him down and killing him, but decided not to because then she thought about how all the skanky women that he must have slept with and how he probably has AIDS. They bring up AIDS a lot in this
Yeah, they
movie,
do.
actually. Yeah. So that's another like you can tell this was definitely made in the 90s because there's constant sort of reminders of just like different sort of things that were going on at the time with like the crack epidemic and all that other stuff. But
Yeah, and she was yelling at him for a while too, and
Yeah.
and they weren't cutting, and I noticed that she was looking up, and she was obviously reading off a cue card or something because she kept looking up, and then like
yeah,
like you could see her eyes kind of scanning a
Yeah.
cue card.
I loved it. It was great. I mean, it was so funny. Oh man, yeah, that was my favorite part of the movie. I don't know why, just that rant that she went on just made me laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, let's see. So he goes and waits in the car. I think JT ends up kind of separating too because he's just too much of an asshole to be around or something. Or no, that's not it. Because all right, it's because Alex sits down with that one dude, the guy who turned him, I guess.
Yeah.
Who
Oh,
he's
that
like,
was-
yeah, he's this kind of big bitchy gay guy who he kind of talks like an 8-year-old who's boasting, like, yeah, me and my friends, we beat him up, and then after that, we told him that we were gonna shave his head.
Yeah,
that
he's a
kind of
big, like-
tough talk. Like,
he does
yeah.
look like a biker guy too,
Yeah.
and and what does he call people? Like he calls everyone like
Senator
senator or
and
something like that. It's like,
he calls Alex or he calls Alex Senator, I think.
yeah, but then he says, "Oh, he
yeah.
calls everyone that."
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, okay.
And another guy he calls Captain, and he bitches about like bisexuals. He's just basically just like a depressed gay guy, just hanging out in a bar.
Yeah, because like
Yeah.
as soon as because he hits on JT or something or says
Yeah.
and then he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna go to the bar," and then he's like, "Ugh, typical. They don't mind, these humans don't mind a vampire when they're seeing them, but a gay guy, oh, they can't stand him."
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, he's a pretty funny character. Yeah, there's a fun little assortment of characters throughout the film. And let's see. And I think the reason Alex goes and tracks him down is to basically ask him whether he knows Slane, which it turns out he doesn't, but he does know like the last guy that's on the list, because
Yeah, they got a list,
they find like
yeah.
a list, yeah, of people that he's tracking down who are vampires who he's specifically trying to take the blood of. And I feel bad for calling him the gay guy, but I can't think of what the gay guy's name is, so I'm just referring to the character as the gay guy. Oh, no offense, I swear. But anyway, so let's see. They take off and go directly to the address where the guy lives.
Oh,
Turns out
what's
he's
funny
already
too,
dead.
there was also a funny thing too at the bar.
Oh, yeah.
JT was just drinking at the bar, and a vampire lady comes up and hits on him, and like
Oh,
JT
God.
just bitches her out.
Yeah.
It's like, he's like, "What your friends put you up to this to make fun of me? I'm just a scrawny redheaded idiot. Go fuck off."
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
she like gives him a kiss and says, You talk too down on yourself or something." And he's like, "Yeah, I talk down on everyone. That's nothing new."
Yeah.
He blew it. He could have been with a vamp.
Yeah. It's one of those things. Like, I mean, Ryan, I guess already could pull it off, so I don't see why he couldn't.
Yeah.
But and then let's see. I know at some point they go to like a rest stop because he has to like use the bathroom or something. They go to a restaurant, right?
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah. And the waitress is some tired lady who like she says something funny. It's been a few days since I watched this movie, so I'm not remembering everything. But I remember she's pretty much probably the only character in the whole movie who's actually kind. So everybody else in this film is bitchy and snotty and just argues. So, but let's see. There's some kind of thing where he's in the bathroom, and then they go to the dress of
Oh
the
yeah, it looks like he was like
vampire.
falling asleep on the toilet too.
Yeah,
And then he's like, "Oh, we're they're out of toilet paper," and they throw him some paper towels.
yeah, that's it. He's out of toilet paper.
And like when he walks out, he's walking all funny. He's like, "I just feel like my ass got fucked by a dildo with sandpaper."
Oh yeah, yeah, because he had to wipe his ass with paper towels. So then so they go to the vampire's house. He's already dead. From what I understand, already been drained, right?
Yeah, and he was
Yeah,
more beat up than the other guy, so they figure
yeah,
that it's the one that turned him.
right. That makes sense. And so they pretty much are able to ascertain that Slain is basically just a rogue vampire who is getting back at the world,
And then, but
and
they
just
also just for some reason somehow I think it's at the restaurant they figure out it just comes to them. They don't really have any reason why to think this, but they're like, "Oh, he works at the hospital with blood. He wants to
mm,
taint all the blood samples with vampire blood to turn everyone into vampires."
yeah,
And I guess like yeah, so like the reason why he's collecting all the different types of blood, A, B, and O or whatever, is because if you
yeah,
put the wrong type, like an O into a B, it'll turn the entire blood
black,
black if you mix blood. So
yeah,
it's like, okay, all right.
yeah.
Some
I
deep
mean,
mythology.
yeah, I mean, there's a lot of moments in this movie where they kind of sit and talk about like just the vampire code, and just they kind of ruminate on different vampire concepts and stuff. And Alex, he's like a good vampire who he only sucks blood from, what did he say, sex predators, murderers, or sex offenders, murderers, and worse. So he's a good guy, basically. And
A
but
Dexter of vampires.
yeah, but the other thing though is that they're at the bar where all these other this vampire hideout, where all these other vampires are, so they don't know how these other vampires get blood. It's like, uh-oh. Um, so let's see. But okay, yeah, like you said, they do figure out that his goal is to taint the vampire, or to taint the blood supply at the hospital to cause a vampire epidemic. Um, and there's a bit of a moment where they are concerned that they're not going to be able to figure out which hospital it is, but then they figure it out immediately. So it's like at like Kent Hospital or whatever.
Yeah,
So
they
they,
find some pen or something like where that
yeah,
was with the dead vampire they found. It's like, oh, it's here,
yeah,
Kent Hospital. Okay,
yeah, yeah. It's the
that was
most
hard.
yeah, it's like the most mysterious part of the whole movie is which hospital he went to, because I could guess the blood vampire tainting thing basically based on the title of the movie, Tainted. It's like, he's got all this blood in his trunk. I wonder what he's trying to do with it. So they go there. They stop him right in the nick of time. There's a big fight scene. They kill him.
He
Basically,
did at
I mean,
least do at least like one blood bag or two. So I
yeah.
don't know if they ever took those out or anything.
Oh, good point.
Maybe
Uh-oh.
that made me tainted too.
Oh
There's
yeah,
a
there you
sequel.
go. Yeah, somebody's got to start a
A
Kickstarter.
bunch of
Well,
vampires just
yeah,
hot whatever city they were in. I don't even know.
yeah. Actually, I don't even know if people do Kickstarters anymore. What is it that the cool kids do nowadays to raise funds for new movies and sequels to movies that people don't want sequels to?
I think Kickstarter still exists.
Yeah.
Okay,
Indiegogo.
Indiegogo.
GoFundMe.
Okay, those are three options right there. So if the folks behind Tainted hear us, or if anybody involved in that production is interested, I don't know, give it a shot, see what happens. Make it sequel. Tell us what happened to the blood supply that we didn't hear about.
Hmm.
Um, and then yeah, pretty much it wraps up pretty fast after that. and they kind of decide, oh yeah, if we get to the theater quickly enough, we'll be able to watch Daryl Hannah kick Harrison Ford in the balls, and so they do that, and then the movie ends. So
Yeah, they fight in the hospital and kill him, and then he thanks them. He thanks him for
Yeah.
killing him. He's like, "Thank you," and then
Yeah.
dies.
Yeah, that was actually an interesting moment, and there was a moment where he almost kills Alex, like where he like pierces him, but doesn't get it all the way deep enough in with the stake. So, but that's yeah, that's Tainted, released by Trauma, which it's I don't know, not the worst Trauma movie I've seen.
No, not at all.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've definitely seen worse than this. I think we've probably watched worse Trauma movies than this on this very show. So, but I mean, it's obviously no Toxic Avenger. Which, by the way, I know this is kind of another side tangent, but did you hear about? I guess the news behind the new Toxic Avenger movie, like,
yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, like, what does it mean to be deemed unreleasable?
I don't know,
Yeah.
right?
That's very
Unreleasable
confusing.
for mainstream theaters.
I guess so. I mean, I guess things.
Super
I don't
violent.
know.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I think wasn't
yeah,
Peter Dinklage in it too?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. This
Yeah.
is gonna be like his big movie, like starring Peter Dinklage doing his thing. Like, I wanted to see it. I was gonna see it in the theater. Like, I didn't even give a shit if it was good or not. I was gonna watch it because it's Toxic Avenger. But what gives? They're not gonna put it out now. Like, oh,
Yeah. Then like it was too weird or something. Like, what do you
everything.
expect from remaking a trauma movie? But
Yeah, like, duh. Like, I don't get it. I guess I don't know. Like, we're not living in the 80s anymore. So,
Hmm.
no Toxic Avenger. I don't get it.
Damn.
Ridiculous. Yeah. Oh, well. I'll still, if it ever comes out on streaming, I'll watch the shit out of it. So,
Yeah.
Elijah Wood, fuck yeah.
yeah.
Anyway, Tainted. Um, Not the greatest movie, but I still enjoyed it. For me, I'm all about like the late night atmosphere, and I remember watching movies like this like late at night on like USA and stuff where I'd just fall asleep to just these barely comprehensible cheap movies about just whatever. And this kind of reminded me of one of those. And I like movies that take place like at night in the nighttime atmosphere. Kind of reminds me of like stuff like Suburbia, which I know I've brought up on this show before. But I can get into stuff like this pretty easily for some reason. And it's not the greatest movie. I wasn't crazy about the characters, but I always enjoy a cheap little vampire movie, even if it's not done like particularly amazingly. I don't know, or Darkness, that with the Leaf Yonker movie. Like, this movie kind of reminded me of that in certain ways, although that was shot on like what 8 millimeters, so that's definitely different in that regard. But I didn't hate it. I mean, it was all right. I enjoyed it enough to probably give it like a 3 or something, maybe a 2.5. But that's my opinion. I've seen so many terrible movies that maybe it's you got. I mean, something like this doesn't seem all that bad compared to other vampire movies I've seen.
Yeah. I would give it like a 2.5, probably is my, because yeah, I like vampire movies. I have a, soft spot for vampire movies, so this was one of them.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
like,
yeah. The vampire thing gives it a lot of power for me too. Yeah,
yeah.
but yeah, what was that?
And then like, I don't know, some of the dialogue wasn't bad. Like the clerky just ranting of it was kind of funny. It was like, okay, I know these guys. It was like obvious that they're going for clerks type stuff,
Yeah.
and it wasn't like actually like necessary. Like from a like the acting wasn't great, but some of those little rants were funny and well written and dumb. But yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I agree pretty much. Like some of it didn't make me laugh, but some of it was charming, you know. I think
yeah,
yeah. I think there were parts where this film could have used less humor. Like where like people would be joking at moments that were actually kind of serious, where it was kind of distracting, you know.
yeah, definitely
But
had
then
that. Yeah,
yeah, like but then there were moments when the humor kind of catches you off guard in a sort of a charming way. So I don't know. This movie definitely could have used a better editor, or at least like maybe like an editor, or maybe just like a sharper editing kind of feel. I mean, it just feels kind of slow, and like a lot of the dialogue feels very drawn out and belabored at times. So,
oh yeah.
but anyway, what about you, Zach?
I gave it 2.5 as well. I like the idea. I like the vibes, but it felt like shot on video, which I don't really enjoy. So,
Yeah,
and acting was not the greatest either.
yeah,
Yeah, it was decent.
yeah. I definitely would agree. The acting is a little rocky for sure. Yeah, some of it's funny, and I like when people just naturally act odd, you know. But I'd say like the majority of the people in this movie didn't really act odd. They just kind of did this sort of stagey kind of
Yeah,
thing, you know.
it was more noticeable when they were doing their drawn out stuff about the movies and whatever.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense.
It didn't feel natural.
No, yeah, you could tell they're going for clerks. They were doing it.
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah. um, yeah. I mean, I think I. Actually, this also sort of reminded me a little bit of Drawing Flies, a little bit. Although I would have to say I prefer Drawing Flies, like, personally. The movie about the folks who go looking for Bigfoot or whatever, like that.
Oh right, yes.
Yeah. Anyway, I guess I don't know. Overall, Tainted, it's all right, not horrible. It's an okay low budget little vampire movie, but you know, probably not something one needs to go out of their way to watch. You know, so like especially when you have like there's stuff like Only Lovers Left Alive and things like that where they really dive more into the character and like the humanity aspect of the vampire idea, and how like a vampire can wrestle with that kind of thing. And so we've seen a lot of more interesting sort of examples of that, but I
Yeah.
still say this is better than Twilight, though.
Oh yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So that was Tainted, and now I guess we'll talk about our second movie. And by the way, Zach, I'm sorry that you didn't get to choose one.
That's
I feel
fine.
bad. You know,
It was during my little absence, so
yeah.
it's all good.
Okay. Okay. Well, yeah. If you ever want to choose, if you ever have an idea of a movie you want to talk about or watch or just whatever, just throw it out whenever you feel like it. Because yeah. Um. But yeah. So Nick, we're going to talk about your choice.
My choice, Half Past Dead.
Mm-hmm.
Which I don't know what that title even means pertaining to this movie. Because I mean, it sounds like a vampire movie, the title of it,
Yeah.
but it is not. I don't know. It's a Steven Seagal movie, so
Was it from 1999 or from 2000? I forget.
2002.
Oh, it was a later Steven Seagal movie. Okay.
And I kind of noticed it too because I felt like there was some Matrix influences in this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or Ballistic.
had that weird early 2000s editing style
Yeah.
and spots.
Yep.
Yes, it sure did.
Um, maybe one of his better movies. I don't know if Steven Seagal has any good movies, really.
I was gonna say it depends on how you define better. Because if you define better as incomprehensible, then I would say yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But if you define better as far as actually like having like a coherent sort of beginning, middle, and end that doesn't make you want to shove your head through the TV. uh well, no, actually I would say this is still better than, because there have been some movies that he was like barely even in. Like there's movies that he's been in where he's like literally in one scene in maybe 3 shots sitting in a corner, but then
Yeah,
his big mug will be like the biggest part of the poster
right.
of the movie. So I mean, I would say as far as being a coherent Steven Seagal movie, this definitely is on the passable side.
Hmm.
So, like, I've seen this one more than once. I've seen it about 4 times now.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Shit.
yeah,
I've seen it a lot. It was like it was playing on Cinemax back when it first came out, so it was like a weekly in their weekly rotation.
yep. That's exactly how I first saw it.
Oh,
It's
that's funny.
on Cinemax. Yeah.
I've never seen it. Yeah, shit.
Oh, nice. Okay. Well, I guess before I ask what your thoughts on it are, I should ask: have you seen any other Steven Seagal movies?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Okay. Good. Good. Good.
But I just don't remember any of them.
Yeah, that's how I feel about most of them.
Yeah, I feel they're all bad in general, but like, yeah, definitely I've seen a few, I'm sure, and I've just heard he's an asshole too, so I try to not watch him. Like I heard he's like a real dickhead.
Yeah, I have heard he's quite the prick. I don't know what he's doing these days, but like I don't know. Last I heard, he was like doing like Russian propaganda or something.
Hmm.
Okay, go for it, I guess. Um, but oh, and what about you, Zach? Have you how much Steven Seagal movies like how deep into the Steven Seagal well have you swam?
I was just looking at his filmography and not a whole lot.
Okay.
Uh, Like they all look like the same exact movie, so I'm
Yeah.
not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That does summarize a lot of them. I mean, because I know there are several that I know that I've seen, but I have zero clue what happened in them. Like the Exit Wounds, I think I've seen. I couldn't even begin to tell you what that one was about.
Like, pretty sure
And
it's
then
Under Siege.
oh yeah, Under Siege. That's the one I do remember. That's the one where he's on the boat, right? And he's like the kitchen guy. Like,
Yeah.
what do they call him? The cook.
He's in Machete.
Oh yes, he was. I
shit.
forgot about that. Yeah. So he's worked with Robert Rodriguez. Then there you go. Uh, I think Robert Rodriguez might be my niece's favorite filmmaker. By the way, like,
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
yeah, because she likes all those Spy Kids
Oh,
stuff.
right.
She
He did
she
those,
likes
I
that,
forgot, yeah.
like, and Let's Be Heroes, or We Will Be Heroes. She loves, that's her favorite movie. She's watched that one like a dozen times. Like, I don't know, she likes she likes his movies. I don't really like his kids' movies that much, but whatever.
Yeah.
But she does, so that's fine. She likes his weird sense of humor. But yeah, Steven Seagal. Okay, so I guess my question is, had you ever seen Half Past Dead before this, Nick? Or
No. Nope.
Okay. Actually, I think you did say that earlier.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
no,
yeah.
yeah, sorry. It's coming to me now. Forgive me, I'm 35. So I guess share your thoughts.
Yeah, all right. It's so it's an action movie, of course, Steven Seagal. It also has Ja Rule in it. So
Oh yeah.
I mean, I could have even technically chosen this for our next week's fucking episode too. It would fit.
Oh yes. Yes. Our next episode will be about movies starring rappers. Or one of our next. I don't know if it'll be our next, but it's an upcoming episode. We've got our 3 big choices picked for you tonight, which we will give at the end of this episode.
Yep.
Yes. Anyway,
stay tuned.
On. Yes, stay tuned.
Perfect segue that happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Consider this our introduction. So.
Yep. A teaser.
Yeah. Yes.
Let's see. It starts off. I don't know. Steven Seagal's kind of chilling in a room.
It's a dark room,
and a bunch of like, I guess gangsters. Yeah, like Ja Rule's with him, and then he's with a bunch of other like gangster people, and they want to recruit him for a job or something.
Yeah,
because he works as a car thief, so that's kind of what he's doing. But he's Ja Rule's friend from other jobs and stuff, so he's like says, yeah, this guy, he's cool.
Yeah,
and tries to get him a job with these gangsters. They put him on a lie detector test too. It was dumb.
That was ridiculous. Yeah.
Yeah. And then also
it's all ominous because it's like underlit and it's like, oh, we're not supposed to know much about this person that Steven Seagal is clearly playing because we're not able to see his face. But what I didn't remember was that he's lit that way the rest of the movie. So.
Yeah, it's funny too. It's like there's that one, and then like right after they're driving in a car, and it's so close up on his face. I'm like, oh, get out of here, man! Why are we so close up on your face for this shot? What the fuck?
Yeah, this movie This movie holds the record for me for like the highest number of awkward close-ups, and so many of them belong to Steven Seagal. Like it'll show like that much of his face in every shot, and the angles will be it's so many shots of him are profile shots, and then so many shots of him are like upper shots where you never get like a really good look at his face throughout the course of this entire movie. It's really frustrating.
Yeah, I think this is when he started getting fat and started worrying about it and said, don't get my whole body in the shot.
That's what it feels like, because whenever it's a close-up of his entire body, you don't get a shot of his face. And then whenever it's a close-up of his face, you don't get a shot of the rest of his body. Like,
yep. Yeah.
You know? Anyway.
Yeah, so they polygraph him, and it was like this weird polygraph, like this electric one too, that they were monitoring, and
yeah,
it was dumb. And then Ja Rule has, before they leave, Ja Rule has a heart-to-heart with him because he's still wearing his wedding ring, and he's like, she died, man, why don't you take that ring off? And he's like, I can't let her go. It's like, okay.
My God.
Backstory. Ooh.
Yeah.
Trauma.
And that's all we get, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Basically. I mean, there is something else. There is a twist, but we won't spoil it yet.
Not yet.
Yeah.
So they're on the job. It's playing over some rap music. I think also it's like a half credit scene too. Like it starts out at credits and then it does that, and then you see Steven Seagal driving crazy through the streets in a stolen car, and the credits still are rolling.
Yeah.
And there's that funny like back and forth with them. Like he calls him Nicholas, and he's like, "Yo, I told you to call me Nick." And it's like, "But I prefer Nicholas." And he like tries to teach him how to say "I." Charles was like, "I no, it's I." And he can't get it. Like he tries to get him to get a little fluent in Ebonics or whatever.
Oh my God. Yeah, this always made me laugh. And just seeing Steven Seagal's awkward face and this weird smile going like, eh? Oh man, it's hysterical. Ugh.
Yeah. So they deliver the car to this chop shop or whatever, and then
Yeah.
the FBI show up. Uh,
Ja Rule kind of gets like catapulted.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
That was hilarious.
There's a lot of people just flying around from just getting punched. That's why I said, "Oh, Matrixy," because people like just get punched and they fly through the air.
But that was a good one because he bounces off the windshield. That should have broken his spine. And he gets up, dusts his shirt off. You know, he like calls Steven Seagal mother or some other the equivalent of that because it's PG-13, friends. We got to keep it family friendly here. You know, and I noticed also all the songs like they use the censored versions of the songs a lot of the time. So like it'll be like mother, and it's like, oh man.
Yeah. So so there's a shootout but the FBI show. I wrote down two funny lines and the FBI because they're trying to give Nick or Ja Rule, I don't know what to call him.
Yeah.
Uh
I don't, Ja Rule's probably easier to unless you well actually Nick is in your case Nick might be easier to remember.
yeah. Yeah, but they're trying to give him a deal, like for giving up his boss. And the FBI, well, anybody has his guns out, and he's like, she says, "Have you ever been anyone's bitch?" So that's what's gonna happen. And then before and like they want him to drop his guns, but before he do, he's like, "Well, it's it's a nice night to die," Ja Rule says, and then just start shooting. And then I was just like, "All right,
Wow.
some funny, corny lines we got in here."
Yeah. This movie's all about the corny lines.
So yeah, there's this big shootout action thing. Steven Seagal gets hit and he dies. He's like
Yeah.
flatlined and is dead. But the paramedics there bring him back to life.
Yeah.
And he's like having like vision, like going into the light, having visions of I guess his wife. I'm assuming some lady.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not clear, but yeah.
Yeah, so anyway, that happened. And then we skip 8 months later. We're at the prison where this movie takes place.
Yes.
They call it New Alcatraz, but it's also Alcatraz. I don't know. I think it's just they reopened Alcatraz to be a prison again, I think. Or is it?
I guess so.
Because I think it's still, they still have like shots of the San Francisco, that bridge and that's where it is, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they open it up again for this, I don't know, for some reason.
Yeah. Because they've remodeled it and now it's like a high-tech prison.
Yep. Yeah.
So it's like cybersecurity. Ooh. Yeah.
It's all fancy and shit now.
Yeah.
Stuff
movie-
popping out of the floors and whatnot.
Yeah. Yeah. This movie was about the dangers of technology before the world realized, the dangers of technology.
Yep.
Which I don't know if you guys are reading the news, by the way, but we don't have to get into it. But yeah, it's not looking good.
Yeah. So 8 months later, we're at the prison. We see Ja Rule walking by, and then out of nowhere, Steven Seagal also shows up. And Ja Rule's like, "Oh shit, I thought you were dead." And he's like, "Nope, here with you, buddy." And then they put him through a metal detector, and it goes off, I guess, because Steven Seagal has a titanium knee.
Yeah,
but
I forgot about that.
I don't. It's a random ass scene because they just fight a guard. He beats the shit out of a guard, and
Yeah.
Ja Rule helps, and like they don't get in any real trouble for it either because the head, what do they call him? The warden, I guess. He's just like, "Okay,
Yeah.
stop it," and then they do,
Yeah.
but like you figured they'd get in some trouble at a high, like throw him in solitary or something, but no, it was like keep processing them.
Yep. In Steven Seagal world, that's how things work.
Just beat
Thought
the
that-
shit out of a guard.
Yeah. Thought the titanium thing was going to come into play later, but
Yeah, I did too.
Nope.
No, like, why'd they do that? They even show like his busted up knee, his scarred up knee. He's like, okay, that checks out. I thought it was, I don't know, maybe he had other, like it was just a scar on his knee. He brought, I don't know, a gun in or something, but nope, that never
You
came
see-
up. That never happened.
If I made this movie, I would have him attach like a rocket launcher to it.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. I mean, people can just blow stuff up, at any point in this movie anyway. So, why not, double down on it? Why not beef up the explosives?
Yep. Yep. We're given a tour of the cell block they're in. There's some kooky characters in there. There's like a big dude that, I don't know, he's a good guy or not a good guy, but like a good inmate. So he's given a video game system and he just plays video games all day.
Yeah, he's got the right idea.
And there's this wacky skinny dude they called Twitch. I don't know. Those are basically the only other characters I remember.
Yeah.
I feel like that part was supposed to be for Dave Chappelle.
Yeah.
Yeah, it probably was, and then
Right.
maybe scheduling conflicts ensued, and something happened. Who knows? But yeah, if he had shown up in this movie, that would have been pretty funny.
Yeah. And so I guess this is, they call it New Alcatraz, and it's actually fairly new as well because they're, I guess it just opened or something, and they're having their first execution tonight, or like they have a timer for the whole thing. It's like happening
Yeah.
tonight, and like you see on the bottom, 10 hours till execution, 20 minutes to execution throughout the movie and shit.
Yeah.
And it's this guy, the guy that they're executing is this guy that pulled off some heist of like $200 million worth of gold. And
Yeah.
he has yet to reveal to anyone where it is. So it's a big deal for a lot of people, apparently. This
Yeah. It's a big deal to me too, actually. It still is. But we'll talk about that later.
okay. Yeah. That was, oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still angry.
The movie gets super whack. Okay, well that's way
Yeah.
okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So for whatever reason, like, yeah, the execution's gonna go down, and this guy wants to talk to Steven Seagal. I don't like just cause like they say, yeah, the word is like, hey, if a guy on his last few hours wants to talk to someone, we let him. And they're talking a bunch and playing cards, and it's like a high tech little, because they have like a LCD screen that he's like, it was at first, I don't know, bridges or a cityscape. He's like, can you change this? And it's like then they switch it to a desert. So they're treating him pretty well. This guy that's about to be executed, playing cards, talking to Seagal. I guess he wants to talk to him about death, because somehow he heard that he died, that Seagal died, and he was like asking him, so what was going to the light like? How was it being dead? You were dead for a few minutes, man. What was it like?
I said he was half past dead.
Oh, that's for that's
Heard you went, yeah, he's like, heard you went half past dead.
Oh, there we go. Okay, I missed that line. Shit.
And is that what the poster says? Steven Seagal is half past dead. Or was half past dead or something. We'll look that up later. But anyway.
Yeah, that's basically, they're doing that. But while that's happening, there's a bunch of fucking people flying around. They jump out of an airplane and parachute down. But it keeps cutting back to them talking, and then them people jumping out of an airplane. You're like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah. Yeah.
They come down, fucking guns blazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Turns like absolutely stupid because like people they parachute into this high security, high tech prison and start blasting people. But for the longest time, no one knows. Like they even blow a door open and shit, and no one knows. And like because they're in the like the death chamber or whatever, and like one of the guards is like, huh. Like they're trying to call somebody, like one of the lines, and he's like, the lines are dead, and like this is all while these people are busting and shooting up guards, blowing doors open and stuff. And the guard was, or the warden's just like, it is raining out and thunder. Maybe maybe the line's down. It's like,
Yeah.
how does this high tech security prison not notice a bunch of people storming the fucking prison? Immediately.
I was gonna ask because like I mean, yeah, I know that there was something going on with the security system and all that, but still, like the sound, the death chamber shouldn't be a soundproof chamber. Like really no room there should be a soundproof chamber other than like the isolation ward. So it really doesn't make any sense that there's like a giant bullet storm happening like 2 rooms away or upstairs or whatever, and meanwhile people are like, oh something, I wonder what's going on. Like it's really frustrating.
Yeah. Dumb.
Yeah. Very.
And like the prisoners are there just cheering it on and stuff, and there's like a girl, like one of the female femme assassin, what do they call them, femme fatales, they're all hitting on her.
Oh yeah, all the guys in this movie are constantly like hitting on her.
Yeah.
I'm surprised, like I don't know, like if some lady is like holding a bunch of guns and looks dangerous, I think like the last thing a normal person would do would be like, hey lady, I mean, are you from Tennessee? Because you're the only 10 I see, or something, some stupid shit like that. Like that's the last thing you'd want to say to some lady holding a big guns that are bigger than my head. It's like, whatever. Anyway.
Yep. So one of the people there that are there in like the watching portion is like a judge lady that was the judge for his trial. I think they
she's
talked
like
to him.
yeah, she's like a member of the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
So, which the last time any members of the Supreme Court were on a movie on this show, that didn't end up working out so well. What was that movie about the bikers, Stone Cold?
No.
Yeah. We don't have to talk about what happened to the Supreme Court in that movie. Let's just say it didn't work out very well.
Yeah. So they're about to execute this dude. And like, any last words? And he's like, yeah, thanks for the suit. Because they put in a nice suit to be executed.
Yeah.
And the execution chair comes out of the floor too. All
I
high
hated
tech
that.
and shit. What the fuck?
Oh, Jesus. So much like useless technology. It's like it's not an advanced prison at all. It's actually worse than it was before. And we're talking about Alcatraz.
Yeah. And this is, I don't know, a little weird. Okay, so Steven Seagal's getting escorted out before that happens, and like people are getting shot up and stuff and whatnot, and Steven Seagal tasers a dude back to life to get one of the security guards because they needed a handprint and a voice recognition to open a door. I thought that was a dumbass thing.
It's very funny. Yeah.
There's a cool little gun flippy thing. Like the lady sticks a gun through the door that closes and was like shooting, and then Seagal flips it back over and starts shooting at her. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah. A little bit of imagination here and there.
Yeah.
Little sprinkles of imagination throughout.
Yep. But this whole time, still nobody in the death chamber knows what's going on until the main bad guys just walk right in.
Yeah, and they basically just take control of the whole room.
Yep. They just have guns and shit. They're all decked out. They blast the priest that's there because they want to show that he's a psychopath or whatever. And he's like,
Yeah.
is this the movie that he's like, no, I'm a sociopath or something like that. I don't know
Yeah.
if if
Yeah.
that was in this movie or not.
Yeah, it was in this one.
Yeah. So he's unhinged and doesn't give a shit, but the whole reason why they're there is to get this dude that's being executed. They want to know where the gold is. It's the whole point of them breaking in to kidnap this dude, take him to the gold. But plans go awry.
Yeah.
I don't know. I looked away for a second and I don't know how, but like their exit plan was like a chopper and it kind of falls through the roof and gets stuck in the roof of the cell block for most of the movie. So like they have to turn it into a hostage situation where they now are negotiating with the FBI, the same lady that was in the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
And they take, I don't know, a bunch of people hostage, but the main hostage is that judge lady.
Yeah.
And
I know the FBI lady was played by the lady who she was the stripper in The Hidden. Did you ever see that movie?
mm-mm.
Did you ever watch that show Freaks and Geeks?
Yeah.
Okay, Bill Haverchuck, that kid with the glasses, his mom. That's her. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Smart and Star.
Yeah. She's a good actress, and he's great too. So
yeah,
but yeah.
She plays a stripper, huh? Hidden.
Yeah. In The Hidden, it's a wonderful movie. We should totally watch it on this show sometime. It's really one of the best kinds of movies.
I'm intrigued.
Yeah, you'll like it. I can guarantee it. It's a great movie.
Oh, and when the FBI arrived too, they mentioned that someone's in there undercover.
Yeah.
And like we know who it is, but I don't think they really like say who. But you kind of get the idea of who it is. It's Seagal. He's an undercover agent. I don't know why. I guess he was tailing Nick in there for something, and it just happened to be.
Yeah.
And this all just happened to happen while he was in there.
Yeah. He basically eventually reveals that he's an FBI agent.
Yeah.
And they're like, but you passed the lie detector test or whatever. And he's like, those things are easy.
Yeah, that happened. That he reveals it to him way later than that.
But, yeah, that's true.
But I got a little confused. I guess the main bad guy is Ja Rule's boss.
Yeah,
I didn't put two and two together. I thought it was that older mafia Russian dude from the beginning, but no, it was.
Oh yeah,
it's this guy that's going in and doing all this shit. So
yeah,
there's, I don't know, a bunch of action scenes. They have the judge strapped to the chair saying like, get us away out of here, a helicopter and shit, and we need a new one. And we'll let this lady go. And there's mostly just action scenes.
Yeah, the stakes are raised when like he like puts a gun to her head and is like, "Oh, you're gonna die with like a single lady," or I forget what he says, but there's like a big
there was that weird scene too where he was kind of being creepy on her, like, just like touching her body with the gun and shit. Oh, you're what, 57? Well, you look good, but you never married, huh? I wonder why, you bitch.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm married to my job, and she's like crying and shit.
Yeah. We really need as many reminders as we can possibly get that this person is the bad guy.
Yeah.
That's why that scene was necessary.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was creepy. But it did its job though. It made you hate him,
Yeah.
So
there's kung fu, a little bit of, I guess, Aikido is what he uses, right?
Yeah.
Seagal.
Yeah.
There was just one that stuck out to me because there was all those stock sound effects and
Yeah.
of him just
Yeah.
slapping a dude around. It was just
I
so
hated
funny.
that. I
Like he
hated
did
that
like a
so
little like leg sweep kick and it looked so
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah, that was sound. The sound of the slapping was terrible. The fight scenes sucked. The shooting scenes, like,
Yeah.
but yeah, go.
Eventually Seagal gets back to the prison block and climbs up the rope to climb in the helicopter to talk to the FBI people to get a rundown of what's going on, what they're gonna do and shit.
Yeah,
So he says, I got it from here. And
yeah.
then they
And then
kind
at
of
this
just
point, everybody kind of moves in slow motion after that.
yeah. There's a lot more gunfights because they break into the armor. I don't know what the fuck a prison is having to do with all this armory. Like they they have a
That
shit
was
ton
another
of
question
guns
I
and
had.
stuff.
Yeah.
And like the
Did they
bad
just keep
guys
the evidence room in the prison.
yeah, also the bad guys dropped a rocket launcher too, I guess. And like Twitch just wants to shoot and Seagal's like, yeah, go ahead. Do it.
Yeah.
And because he shoots it at like one of the doors to let them out. And he just goes fucking flying back. Like
Yeah.
sends him fucking shooting way back.
Yeah, giant fireball comes flying out of the door. That should have just blown everybody up, and then the movie would have ended.
Yep. So they break out because of that rocket launcher and they go to the armory and all the prisoners are now armed to the gills with just what like the big dude. He had like this huge ass machine gun. It's like I still don't get why a prison has that.
So silly. Oh. Yeah. And then wasn't there also I know that there was like a moment where he was gonna shoot Seagal. Like
Yeah. Well, first, so okay, there's the prisoners do, I don't know, bust in and save some people. There's a big I wrote down the swinging on a chain fight.
yeah. Yeah, she's like swinging on the chain cord with the dual guns.
That was so funny, yeah.
Wasn't there
Yeah,
a movie where like who I know there was a movie where somebody did that. Wasn't it like that? What was that movie with like the Elvis impersonators or whatever, where they go to Las Vegas? There was somebody. It was like somebody like I want to say it was like Ice-T shows up and does that like swinging on a chain doing the dual pistol thing. He might have even been wearing like tight leather. I don't remember what the movie was though.
Not sure about that one.
Shit.
Yeah.
Oh, it was 3,000. Wait, was it 3,000 miles to Graceland? Oh, yeah, I bet it was.
I think so.
All right, I'll look that up. But we can keep talking about Half Past Dead, obviously.
So yeah, there's a lot of gunfights and shit. I don't. Eventually, yeah, they both Ja Rule and Seagal are in the. Oh, there was also a fight with Ja Rule and the lady in the tunnels.
Oh yeah,
It was like a hand-to-hand fight, and she was doing Matrixy stuff. Looked a lot like Trinity. That's why I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And eventually, yeah, like they save people, and that's when like Seagal tells Nick or Ja Rule that I'm an FBI agent, and he gets all pissed. And he's like, "I trusted you. You were my friend." Wah.
Yeah, they have to have the big moment where the person who's clearly the most helpful person in the room is also the one who gets the gun pointed on at his head.
And then they, I don't know, are setting up a trap maybe or something because they climb up into the friggin' helicopter that's half in the ceiling, and him and Ja Rule are in there, and Ja Rule gets to pilot or use the gun thingy on it, and he's like wearing this helmet with his goggles thing on. He's like, oh, this is just like a video game. And then, yeah, there's another big shootout there. And it's a fucking funny one, too. Because, like, Seagal says, okay, no, let's put the guns down. Everyone, no. And then the prisoner's just like, nah, fuck it. And two of them do, like, this jump off, like, the higher tier balcony. They crisscross in midair, just shooting. And it's the funniest fucking thing. And they're like, they land too. That was like a high balcony, and they just land like it was no problem.
Yeah, the characters in this movie are really good at landing on their feet.
And so there's that big shootout, and then that's where we get the scene with Seagal pointing a gun to the main bad guy.
Mm.
And it's like it's like right, like almost word for word that what Dirty Harry's seeing and all this chaos.
Oh,
well,
yeah.
except it's the bad guy saying it to him.
Yeah. Just interesting.
Yeah, and it's like I wasn't lying. It was just it was just misfired when he tries to shoot him.
Excuses.
Right. Seagal just couldn't get one up.
Nope. He had to, somehow be the person who's the top dollar, who's number one. So as if it's like a race to be the coolest person in the room. So.
Oh, and we're also revealed a little bit ago too that this guy is the reason that his wife is dead.
Mm. Yeah,
They
so
just throw that in there for some reason. Yeah, they just throw that in there, I guess.
Yeah,
but they release the hostage, so they get their helicopter. The bad guys do, and they fly away. But it turns out this movie has another 10 minutes left in it, so it's not the actual hostage. It's just some other girl that they had, and he still has that judge.
Yeah.
This is the wildest end to a movie. I think I can't remember. I was laughing so hard for it.
Yeah.
Because there's just this, so there's like, oh shit, they still have the judge, and they're like in a helicopter chase scene.
Yeah.
And they throw the judge out of the helicopter, the bad guy does. And then Steven Seagal just jumps out, and it's like just so goofy looking, and like, what the fuck is the point of any of this?
Yeah.
And like the guy that had that knew where the gold was, he takes off his shirt and reveals that he has a bomb vest on, and just detonates and kills himself and all the bad guys with him too.
Yeah.
And then you see Steven Skull just flying through the air and grabbing the judge lady and saving her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
right. So and then like the very end, yes. Before all of this, before like everything happens, the bad guy, I mean the gold dude, the dude with the gold, does reveal to Seagal where the gold is. He like says, go to this cove over here. It's in this location. And then I was like, oh yeah. So after that insane helicopter thing, they go and dig up the gold.
Yeah.
With the FBI and shit. I was like, oh, that's disappointing. I was super disappointed that Steven Seagal just didn't get to keep it.
He didn't get to keep it, but when they opened it up, like, I don't know about you guys, but my first thought was, where's the rest of it? Because
it was a small box, yeah.
It was only like a few bars of gold, like not anywhere near close to 200 million. Like, or however.
I think it was 200,000.
Or 200,000. Oh, well, maybe it would be that much. I thought it was 200 million. But yeah, it didn't look like very much gold.
No, it was 200 million. Never mind. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Because that makes more sense. Because why would he be getting sent to death row for 200 million? And I guess a lot of people died during that. So
yeah, all those people died for just a few bars of gold.
In a small crate. Yeah.
A small crate with an even smaller pile of gold at the bottom of it. So where'd the rest of it go? Now they got to make a half past dead too. No, I bet
there is.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think they already did make one.
Really? Shit.
There is. Shit. Have you seen it, Zach?
I haven't. No,
Oh. Uh-oh.
I got it now.
Right?
Yeah.
How does
Maybe
it
for-
end?
Maybe if we do a sequels episode or something.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It has
Maybe we-
has Goldberg in it.
Oh, Bill Goldberg, the wrestler.
Yeah.
Speaking of gold,
Nice. What a nice gift.
that's hilarious. Wow, Half Past Dead 2. Oh, and also Monique shows up during the credits.
Oh yeah, right. Well, and then also after they get the
Sorry.
gold, it's 1 month later. Because the helicopter falls and Ja Rule
Yeah.
doesn't get out in time, but
Yeah.
Steven Seagal gets out and grabs onto a rope, jumps out. So fucking
Yeah.
funny, but Ja Rule doesn't get out and he's like dying again. Like, oh, he's
Yeah.
dead. But nope. 1 month later, he comes out with a broken leg and arm, and
Yeah.
Seagal visits him and says, "Hey, because of all the good shit you did and save the judge
Yeah.
and stuff, she's letting you out.
Yeah.
How? When do I get out? Well, how fast can you get out of those clothes?"
Yeah, that's exactly the best way to end a Steven Seagal movie. Steven Seagal telling a prisoner, "Hey, take your clothes off." He smiles on his face. Freeze frame. Take your clothes off.
Yeah. And then the credits. That was Monique.
Yep, Monique.
Yeah, she's
Pre Oscars.
okay. She's visiting that Twitch character, like he's his wife or something. It's just
Yeah.
like during the credits, it's like some comedy bit they're doing.
Yeah. Yeah, a little
That wasn't that
silly
funny.
joke. Right. I only remember that part because when I watched it, because when I watched this movie on TV a few years later, and during the credits they show that part, and the credits are scrolling really fast on the side, like they do during TV.
Mhm.
So yeah. Anyway.
And that's it. Half past
Yeah.
dead.
Yep. Yep. So, do you have any final thoughts, or?
Wasn't good.
Yeah. Well,
It was
but what-
I.
It was I.
yeah. It was all right. It was all right for a Seagal movie, I guess. You know.
Yeah.
So,
Mm.
but yeah.
I'll give it like 2 stars, I guess.
Okay.
Because it was kind of boring, but the dumb stuff did make me laugh. There's a bunch of just stupid shit that made me laugh. It wasn't
Yeah.
like the comedy of the movie, but just the goofiness that
Yeah.
gave me some chuckles.
Yeah. Definitely chock full of silliness. What about you, Zach?
I'd say I'd probably give it a 2, but I think just for nostalgia, I gave it a 3.
There you
Just
go.
like-
Nice.
12-year-old me loved this movie. Now, not so much.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of how I feel, more or less. Like when I was a kid and I saw this, I thought, okay, this is pretty silly, but it's pretty fun, but now I kind of hate it. Now I think it's kind of like really annoying, and I don't know, like it definitely not the worst Seagal movie, but like I don't know. He's annoying. The movie's repetitive. The fight scenes were boring. The shootouts were confusing, and I don't know. Maybe it would have been cooler if like we had people's heads exploding, or I don't know. Just maybe just. I feel like the villains should have been nastier. Like I like when action movies like really like blindside you and just raise the stakes more and more and kind of make you think like, oh crap, how's the hero gonna get through that? How are they gonna take this motherfucker down? Like that Van Damme movie Sudden Death, where he has to take over, or he has to take down that terrorist who's he's played by who's that actor I really love? But anyway, he has to like take down that terrorist at the hockey game, and at the hockey, the thing's gonna explode at the end of the hockey game, and so he has to go out onto the field and cheat and manipulate the game and make it go into sudden death so he can keep disarming the bombs. I mean, like, to me, like, that's like a high stakes like action spectacle where this firefighter is somehow miraculously able to do all of this incredible stuff, like disarm bombs and take out people in the kitchen with an industrial dishwasher, but here we just have Steven Seagal going through this prison, kind of being a little bit clumsy, but somehow managing to be more competent than everybody else. And you don't really get a good look at him because he's afraid to show his face, and the fight scenes are hilarious. It kind of reminds me of Samurai Cop a little bit. Like, I mean, I think Samurai Cop's, more funny.
Oh yeah, I love that movie.
Yeah. But this one, I think after watching it 4 times, I think I'm good with that. I would be okay if I spent the rest of my life never watching Half Past Dead again, I guess is where I'm at. I think I'm tired of this movie, and I'm ready to just bury it in my past, like I am a lot of Seagal movies, like
Yeah.
until you guys decide to pick more of them for the show, in which case I will happily watch them again, or watch the ones I haven't watched yet, there's plenty of those too. So.
Yeah.
But I'd say, as far as Steven Seagal movies go, this one's, I'd say, better than Under Siege. No, actually, not as good as Under Siege, but better than, I'd say, Fire Down Below. Yeah, what was that one on Deadly Ground or whatever, where he has to like fight oil drillers? That's one of the worst fucking movies I've ever seen in my life. Like at the end where everything's blowing up. Oh man, that one. Oh, yeah. I'm not gonna choose that one for the show. All right. Anyway, I guess any yeah. Do you guys have any other thoughts on Half Past Dead or Steven Seagal or Ja Rule even?
No.
I think so.
Okay.
Oh, covers it.
Yeah. All right. Well, speaking of Ja Rule, I guess that leads us to our segue here. So on our upcoming episode, all right. So we're done talking about Half Past Dead. So it was a double feature episode that concludes our episode. But before we go, we're gonna tell you our picks for the movies that we've chosen for the movies starring rappers. And who wants to go first?
I chose Belly.
I think I've only seen like the end of that movie. I haven't seen like the whole thing. I somehow I only saw like the end of it. So.
Yeah.
I was on like the mid 90s, right?
98
Oh, okay.
with who? I don't even remember who was in it.
I know DMX.
few.
Oh, Nas and DMX. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Method Man's in that too.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Very cool. All right. So that's Belly. And then my choice is a movie that this might be cheating because I don't necessarily know if it stars him, but I know it features Coolio. It's The Convent from 2000. So it's a horror movie.
And mine is Man with the Iron Fist, directed and starring RZA.
Yeah, I have not seen any of these movies. Have either of you?
Mm-mm.
I've seen Man with the Iron Fist, but I wanted to rewatch it. So.
Cool. Do you remember it very well? Or?
No, not at all.
Excellent. All right. Good. I think my dad has it. So I'm going to, and he also has The Convent. So I don't know how I'm going to watch Belly, but I'll figure out a way.
I think it's streaming.
Yeah, it probably is. Yeah, I'm sure it is actually. So
Yeah, it is.
and
Yeah. Bunch
cool.
of different options. Yeah.
Nice. And I think The Convent is streaming as well, but I've had the DVD. My dad has had the DVD since like around the time it came out, and for whatever reason I never watched it. So, but now's my chance. All right. Well, I guess that concludes our episode of this episode of A Couple of Flicks. So yeah, until next time. Oh, and I guess the only other thing to sort of mention is we also have our Tubi episode to look forward to, which I forget what the movies were. I know one of them was Survival of the Dead, and then
Ghastlies
yeah,
and
Ghastly.
Return to Savage Beach.
Yes, yes. So sometime in the near future, look forward to us talking about those movies. But yeah, in the meantime, have a good night, everybody.
Yeah, have a good one.
See ya.